You know, one thing that I've noticed in this discussion a lot, we've been talking about AI for a while, right? AI. And so that's a word that we use a lot. No, today what I heard a word quite a bit used in conjunction with AI was human, right? And guess what is the biggest pain? It's not usually the technology that's the pain. Humans are pains. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time here and go pretty quick, but give you a little bit of background on myself, why change is important to manage for me, and a little bit about Nextern and where we're at in our Propel journey and just journey in life. We'll talk just a hair about product change management and why that's so critical to a company like Nextern. And then we'll talk about organizational change management and real world, what are we doing to manage the humans involved in our transition. So a little bit about me, I'm a change junkie, which is like weird. I'm my own kind of crazy. And I like to make things that feel crazy feel less crazy for people and get people through that transition. I started my career at Boston Scientific right about the time they got their FDA corporate warning letter, and were in some serious trouble and had to make some significant change. And that's where my experience in change management started. I then worked for Jude Medical, who was acquired by St. Jude. Jude Medical was using Oracle Agile, loved it. I was instrumental in building out a lot of process there. That was my baby. And St. Jude came in and bought us and made us move to Windchill. And I wasn't having any of that. And so I quit and I left. And I went to Monteris Medical, where they had a paper system, even bigger, boo. And we lifted that and shifted it into Agile. Yes. So that was the first part of my career, was a lot of manufacturing engineering, operational, on-the-floor stuff. Boston made me a quality engineer. That was the rest of my career, is really in quality engineering, until St. Jude called me again and said, hey, you're fit for this role back in R&D. We want you back. There's no one else we want but you. And so I said, okay. I don't know anything about R&D. I'm not real creative. I'm crazy, not creative. So I went back to St. Jude, though, and led their R&D shared services organization. And a part of that was preclinical studies and clinical engineering. Well, about that time, then, the EU MDR dropped. For those of you involved in CE marking around the world, transformational regulation change for industry. But the leadership thought that it was just more CER stuff, and so Caroline, just go implement the CE mark transition stuff within St. Jude. So I said, okay, sure, I'll do that, right as Abbott acquired St. Jude and said, oh, by the way, now you're a part of Abbott, and we've got to integrate you as well. So I ended up presenting EU MDR and the implications on the St. Jude part of the business to the now CEO, Robert Ford, of Abbott, overall Abbott. Let me tell you, that was a fun presentation to watch him fall on his face as he learned how impactful that was. So I ended up leading change at Abbott and in industry, met a lot with the competent authorities and notified bodies to inform them of what was about to slam them with these new regulations as we in industry adopted them. So that was fun, and then I thought that wasn't fun enough, so I left there and I went to Leica Biosystems, which is a diagnostics company who's even further behind in regulation and change control and design change and all of these things. And I thought, well, I'm going to work on that for a while and help them transition to IVDR. Then the pandemic hit. I was working 24/7, managing regulatory around the world, and I decided to bring it all back home and come to Nextern, which is a CDMO in Minneapolis that works with strategics as well as small startup companies to enable medical devices to come to market. We're full service, and I lead the consulting services organization within there. So Nextern, we have multiple sites. You see our sites listed there. We're global. We're in Vietnam, Costa Rica, and several places in the US. We're in China with strategic sourcing. And we all utilize Epicor as our ERP system. We've got Agile as our PLM system. And as you know, we're all getting the boot off of that. So we had to change, and we're changing to Propel. We're about 2 months away from go live right now. That's about where we're at. But we deal with complex medical devices, single-use sterile medical devices, wearable devices, very large consoles with 600-700 components in them, and everything in between. And we serve a lot of different strategic markets. This is just for conceptual purposes, the types of things that we work on. Power systems, we work on little tiny widgets that are tiny coils or laser cut components that get sold in the industry to go on catheters. We make the catheters themselves, we make implants, we make leads, active devices, everything in between. Okay, so quite a bit of product change management happening here. So what we do, high level, is we have a development project or a manufacturing transfer project, and we will create a PROJ, we call it in Agile project. And we transfer that into manufacturing. Now we're rocking and rolling. But now the customer needs a labeling change because now they're going to go to Europe. And then they're going to also have to cut in a material change. And then also at the same time with this material change, we want to make a software update. All in the one product. That's a lot. So just take one of those things. I now have a change request, and I'm going to scope out what does a labeling change look like to go to Europe now, and what all is involved with that. Well, I got to add new languages. I got to make some changes. And those things all get prepped, tested, cut in, managed on the individual change orders. Prep, implement, roll it up to the change request. Now we're done with that project. Awesome. Moving on to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And sometimes they all have to be coordinated at the same time. Sometimes they go to a regulatory body, and it takes 6 months to implement that change, but tomorrow I can implement this other one, right? All kinds of fun in medtech. So product change management is really important to our industry and at Nextern overall. And why so much change? Well, you guys know we've got all the manufacturing people want to cut costs. We've got CAPAs because we're hearing about feedback from the field. We've got regulations and standards like the EU coming in. We're trying to go to China. We're trying to go to Australia with a product line. We've got component obsolescence. We've talked about that a little bit and what a challenge that can be. And by the way, I want a line extension, and I want new features, and I want this, and I want that, right? Lots. And it's not so easy. It's not just like customer tells us, wham, bam, we're done. We have to create the change at Nextern. We have to scope out with our customer, what are the impacts, how are we going to cut this in, what's the risk assessment look like, the regulatory strategy look like, all at the change request. Then we do each of those change orders, and the customer's got to review and approve all of those things. And then we're dealing with the changes back to the suppliers as well. And then, oh, remember, the customer themselves also has to manage the change in their PLM system, whatever that is, right? And so there's just a lot of information and coordination and bouncing back and forth throughout this whole change process just to cut in a singular change. So what that looks like at Nextern, here's some numbers for all the numbers gurus out there. Just those 3 manufacturing sites, core manufacturing sites that we have, manage 45 customers, 375 SKUs. We have over 700 suppliers because all of our customers transfer their products in with their supply chain, and it takes time to make changes to those and try to consolidate. And just last year alone, 6,500 COs were processed through Oracle Agile. So we got a lot of change, and that's just on the product side. So now I got to go to Propel, and I got to tell my 700-person organization around the globe, we're going to lift and shift this sucker. Don't worry about it. It's easy. It's easy. We're in control with our pretty archaic Oracle Agile situation, but we're getting the boot out of there. But trust me, Propel, it's just gonna look the same. It's gonna be the same, right? It's just a little bit more clean. Don't worry, don't freak out on me. It's all good. Trust me, it's the exact same thing. I'm trying it. I know you guys all have different levels of change. Just trying to articulate my level of change, right? This is what we're managing. So this is where people come in, right? How do I get from here to there? How do I get to my future state? How do I get the slick, cool Propel One AI and all this collaboration going? Well, I have Stacy here, my quality system manager, who's in charge of deploying this thing. We talked earlier about this highway, this road that's so clear. Just bring this guy in here and this guy in here, and we're all just gonna go, and it's gonna be great. Awesome. So easy for her. This is what the rest of the organization is looking like right now. What are we doing? Where am I? I got this project I gotta do, and these 17 changes coming. You have a blackout period coming where I gotta move data over? Oh my God, I can't. I don't have any time to train. I don't have any idea where I am in this highway roadmap. This looks like a mess to me, even though, yeah, it's supposed to be the same thing as Agile, right? So you gotta check yourself in the change process when you're in the midst of change. Where am I at? Where is the individual that's causing me a problem here? Where are they at in the roadmap? And the reality is, even Stacy, as much as she thinks this is so straightforward, we're getting curveballs here and there. Something's not quite going right. Something didn't hit the date it was supposed to, right? So we're all swerving and turning, right? But we're gonna get there. The light's there. It's at the end of the tunnel, but it's never as easy as you think it's gonna be. So like I said, but when we lift and shift this thing, which is going live here in about 2 months, we're gonna do that. Then we're gonna move our training records over and start using training modules in Propel. And then next year, we're gonna connect it up with Epicor, which is our ERP system. Future state, peace out, we're done. Right? That's it. That's easy. Everybody's gonna be using it, it's gonna be beautiful. I don't hear enough laughing in this room. Because that's ridiculous. How many kick-butt things did we just see here at this conference right now? And I didn't even know about that stuff that we just saw, and this is stuff that I'm contemplating. How is Nextern gonna move forward with materials compliance, with a supplier portal and this partner portal thing that we're all talking about? What does that even look like? Customers can submit their complaints via email, and then I can just make it happen in Propel? Cool, let's do that. AI, just across the board. How many AI applications? I got my CTO right now running around just like dying over anything that's AI and creating AI all over the place, and I keep saying, oh, hang on, Propel's got it, Propel's got it. Chill, chill, chill. We just gotta take a look at it. Calm down a little bit. So there's a lot more change. Change is just the constant in our worlds, and that's what makes everything fun, honestly. But to manage change, you have to understand change. And this was first published in 1969, the grief curve. I'm sure you all have seen or heard of this at some point in time. Everybody, when they have a loss in their life, goes through this curve before they can get back to a normal. Your job when deploying a change in an organization of any kind is to move people through the grief curve, allow it to happen, but try to get through it as fast as you can. The goal is to not be St. Jude Medical getting Caroline so mad that she resigns at the lowest point of the grief curve and walks out the door. You don't want your people walking out the door. You want them to get over their anxiety, their fears, their anger, their frustrations, suck it up, and move on, right? And we're going to do bigger and greater things together in this new world order. Another tool to understand is just in organizational change management or any technology adoption, this is the curve that you can expect in any population, in this room, in your companies, in society as a whole, when we talk AI, or we talk PLM transition, or integration, company integration. You've got people who are really innovative and early adopters on one hand, and then there's this weird space in between, and there's everybody else. And don't forget, you've got the laggards or the skeptics on the backside that are doing nothing there but sabotaging you. So you've got to take a look through this whole organizational change management scope and manage where you are and where people are at on the curve. So I've got some people here I'm going to throw up and talk a little bit about, and we'll talk about where they're at and how we kind of manage them. So Ken, he's awesome. He's on the AI committee and the automation committees, anything about technology, he wants it. He has literally counted the clicks it takes in Oracle Agile to create a part and put it on a change order, and he wears a wrist strap and literally to prove how clicky it is. And right? But his heart is in the right place. He always wants everything, us to have the best technology today, tomorrow, go, 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 right? He's willing to help to get there. He's got a good heart. It's in the right place. It's just a little misguided sometimes. I got Trang, who works in Vietnam. Quiet, but is the gatekeeper of all things. Was using wind chill, knows wind chill. That's the bias. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is how things work. When we talk about Propel or we talk about Oracle Agile, got it. I can do it. Yep, I understand. And then as soon as the US people leave or they got to get back to work, now, okay, guys, this is what we're really going to do. This is what works here. Trust me, it's going to be fine. Just do that. I got Jim. Loves device technology, is our innovator in the company, highly influential in the eyes of leadership. Literally, screw you, documentation. Want no part of this. I see people resonating with Jim. Everybody's got a Jim in their organization, right? Oh man, what are we gonna do with that guy? All right, and then last I got Maria, super ambitious, young. Everybody goes to Maria in Costa Rica. And Maria is great and wants to do the best and wants everything to be perfect. But this is a little too gray for me. Maybe yes, no, what am I supposed to do here? I can't give you an answer. We're not moving forward, sorry. I need more, right? All these people fall on this curve, right? Where do we think Ken is? Green? Probably, right? But Ken, because he's such an early adopter and he's so eager to do all these things and he's so into the data of all the things, if we don't manage him right, he can become a saboteur and actually be in the blue and be a skeptic if we don't manage his expectations right off the bat. We don't have Propel 1 yet, Jeremy. So we don't have it yet. Ken is the #1 guy who's going to be like, you promised this had AI. Well, it has AI, but we don't have AI right now. So the sooner I level set with that guy and get him on my side, the better, because I need to keep him green. I don't want him to turn blue. Trang, quiet in the middle, you know. There's some checks and balances that have to happen there, and some oversight that we got to make sure that they stay in line with our messaging and with our changes, and are setting the right expectations at the Vietnam site. Jim, we got to sell him on the futures. We're trying to get you out of the documentation, buddy. It's coming, right? But it's not today. But we're going to surround you with other people that are going to help you be successful. Don't worry about it. There's going to be so many people excited for this. We're going to help you. You don't have to learn all this stuff. Just wait till we have the AI integration, and then we'll turn you loose in that. That could be a way we manage him. And then finally, Maria, in an early adopter category, but just needs a lot of hand-holding and education, and needs that feedback loop in those forums, the user forums, the feedback forums, the direct line into the subject matter experts to keep the train moving, because that's our largest site. And it has the most volume out of that, and we cannot fail with implementation there, or we're in big trouble, right? So which stakeholder of all these things, all the things that I said, which one matters most? Right answer, all of them. So Nextern, to tackle all of them, who all have special needs, and all need hand-holding in different ways, or different communication styles, or different levels of information. We've thought about these things from day one, and we've put together a resource hub on our intranet site. And we keep the timeline very front and center with people. We have all these resources listed here, so if you're really like Ken and you want to get into the weeds of things, sure, come into our user acceptance testing group. Happy to have you. If you got Jim on the other side, okay, don't worry about it. It's coming, but here's how we're going to manage the situation around you. We're not going to disrupt your project, and we're not asking you to do anything different right now. We've got a countdown. We have all this fun stuff. Training materials will go up there, announcements, all these things blast out through emails and all that. Oops, sorry. So it's important to just keep that communication up front. We also do these monthly updates on our website, and we're able to comment on things. So where are we at now? We're prepping to go live. The next phase is going to be UAT, and those involved will get further communication. We're just leveraging all kinds of things. We've branded our project. We are propelling forward. We have provided resources for those who want to pull, early adopters who want to pull directly from Propel and what the possibilities look like. We've given them that. For the people who just are along for the ride and want to have a little fun, we've taken Stacy's dog and used what? AI, and created Sully here, who's in the early phases of the project has been in cartoon form, but as we are now getting into real life, Sully's turned into a real life dog. And sometimes things don't go so well at our project, and we apologize with, real life Sully here, who's maybe just a little bit underwater, so please have some compassion for us on the core team as we are getting ready to deploy this. It humanizes things using dogs. That was a bad analogy, but you see what I'm saying, right? Sometimes you gotta fall on the sword a little bit. Not everything's perfect, and we just gotta be upfront with that. Don't hide it. Guys, we're struggling here. It's not going the best. Here's where we need your help, right? And it kind of disarms the people who wanna come pitch a fit about something. And then finally, what we're gonna do is have a lasting reminder for everybody at Nextern as they go through training, as they complete modules. We have 3D printed this little rocket that comes apart in pieces, and every time you do our training, you get a piece of your rocket, and everybody is gonna have a lasting reminder on their desk in front of their face that they helped accomplish this thing. Even though it's software and we can't see it, it's virtual and everything, everybody is gonna have a rocket because they've all propelled forward. And then we get to figure out what's the next little widget that we do when we go with Propel 1, Jeremy. And we really start taking off with this. So here's just what I'll leave you with real quick. Some do's. Significant change is not easy. We're all dealing with humans. So do what you can to make it fun. Propel forward. Get your imaging. Use AI. Be self-deprecating. Be honest, right? But whatever you do, plan those communications and the forums and drive consistency toward that. So set the tone and just be consistent with it the whole time. You're not giving up. You're not going away. A lot of people on the blue skeptic side think you're going to go away. We're not going away. This is going to happen, and you got to get on board and come in the rocket ship with us. You got to leverage your early adopters and champions and help them influence the others. You can't do it alone. Use your spheres of influence to help others adapt to the change. And listen along the way. You don't know it all. Propel doesn't know it all. That's why they have the PUG, right? They want to hear from us what is working, what is not, and don't shut people down. Make sure they understand the why are you doing this, and maybe I can't do that now. It'll come later. Or I can't ever do this, and let me help you understand why. Or, oh my gosh, I cannot believe you said that. You just prevented a catastrophe. Thank you so much. We got to address this. It's okay. We're going to push the timeline out because this is serious, right? Listen and be receptive and close the loop continuously on that feedback, and that will help a long way with the transition. Don't come out the gate. In medtech, we love to talk about the FDA requires this. It's required for compliance. Okay, everything is. I live because of compliance. So don't dwell on that. You gotta find the other messages and get that to connect with people. And don't avoid conflict with your dissenters. Deal with them. Have those difficult conversations and sick other people after them and escalate where you need to. Don't disappoint your early adopters because they can turn on you. Keep them on your side, but keep their expectations managed. And do not slow your communication plan. If you're on a cadence and every week you're given an update, and now we've slid off the rails a little bit on something, don't not communicate. Just say, this is what happened. I don't have all the answers yet, but we're coming back around, and here's when we think we will have an answer. It's just horrible when you're in the middle of a change to just go silent. You'll lose all your momentum when that happens. So with that, I just left in the slides here a few of the reference points that I lean on and I've utilized. A lot of that change management approaches that I've sort of summarized here in real life, they're all in the PMI PMBOK. Enjoy yourself. If you're a project manager, this is a great resource. Consiliso, a good friend of ours, Mark Grakevich, who was very instrumental in Oracle Agile and configuration for the medical device industry. He has written a book on data management and architecture for life sciences. So that is another great resource for you. And Crucial Conversations is another book I like to go to around how to manage change and how to have those difficult conversations with people. Another soft skill thing in a room full of techies. I promise I don't work for HR. But that's it. That's all I had. Thank you.